With the Microsoft 365 release, Excel introduced a very useful function called TEXTAFTER. It helps you extract portions of text after the occurrence of some text that you specify. There are many applications of this function. Let's look at them one by one. In the first example, we will look at the basic functionality. We have a list of names here, and we need to extract the last name. The last name is the text that appears after the space character, and that is what we need to find. Let's write the function in cell B2. Text after. The first parameter is text. We will provide the reference of A2 here, as we need to extract the last name from the cell A2. The next parameter is delimiter. As mentioned, the last name is all the characters after the space. So we will write space here in a pair of double quotes. We will look at the other optional parameters as we go along, but for now, we will close the bracket and press enter. And we get the last name as Smith. As we copy this to the other cells, we get the last names for everyone. Now let's try and extract the last names from this list. The challenge here is that some of them have middle names. So let's write the same formula that we had written moments ago. Text after. A2 is the first parameter and space as the delimiter. We get the correct result for the first name. But as we copy, we get this result for the others. So here for Ravi Casing and Max Tony Pilling, we get their middle and the last name. Casing, Tony Pilling. This is because text after produces the text after the first instance of the space. Now since the last name for Ravi Casing and Max Tony Pilling is after the second space, we can use one of the optional parameters. The optional parameter that we'll use is called instance number. I'll edit the formula. For the instance number, let's write 2 here. Now we get an error for the first name as there is no second instance of space. But when we copy it in the cells below, we get the last name for Ravi Casing and Max Tony Pilling and errors for the rest. We get the results for these two as they're the ones with middle names and therefore have the second instance of space. Let's look at another parameter of this function, if not found. Here we can provide an action in case there is an error. We will provide a pair of double quotes to represent blank. Now as we copy the formula, we get blanks instead of errors where we don't have a middle name. And we get the last name for the names where we have 2 instances of space character. However, this is still not the solution we want. Let's try a different approach. If we redefine our goal, then we can say for the last name, we are essentially looking for the text after the last instance of space character. We can look for the last character by writing -1 for instance number. Let's do that. Text after. A2 for the full name. Space in double quotes for the delimiter. And -1 for the instance number. We get Smith for the first name, which is correct. Let's copy the formula to the next few rows and we get the last names for everyone. If you're using an older version of Excel such as Excel 2019 or earlier, then you will not have access to the text after function. In that case, you will need to use multiple functions to get the last name. I have another video explaining that solution. I will add the link in the description below in case you want to see that video. Let's move to the next sheet. Here we have names with different salutations. We need to extract the name without salutations. Each salutation is like a delimiter. So in that case, we can say we have multiple delimiters here. We can provide multiple delimiters as an array to the text after function. So let's write text after. Text is A2. To provide multiple delimiters, we can provide them as an array. To provide a set of values as array, we write them in curly brackets or braces. So open curly brackets. The first parameter is Mr. or Mr dot. We write it in double quotes along with a space. Else the space will also appear before the name. Comma. ms dot and space in double quotes. Miss and space in double quotes for the final delimiter. Close the array with a curly bracket and close the function. We get the name for Amy Smith. As we copy, we get errors for Max and Steve. We get the error for Max as there is no salutation before his name, and for Steve, the Mr. is in uppercase, whereas one we had provided as a delimiter is in sentence case. For Steve, we can resolve the error using the match mode parameter. This parameter allows us to perform a case-insensitive match. Let's update the formula. Zero, which is the default value, stands for case-sensitive match. So even if we don't provide any value, by default, TEXTAFTER will perform a case-sensitive match. We will provide 1 this time, as we want it to be a case-insensitive match. We see no change for Amy. However, when we copy to the other cells, the error for Steve disappears, as the salutation Mr dot will now get resolved due to the case-insensitive match. Now let's look at the final optional parameter match end. We will update the formula after we had provided the mandatory parameters. We will write -1 to extract the last instance. We will provide 1 for case-insensitive match. And for the match end parameter, we will provide 0, which is don't match to end. This means Excel will keep looking for the delimiter. Since it did not find the delimiter for Max, it gives an error. Now we will update the match end parameter to 1, which stands for match to end. And now for Max we get the full name. If the delimiter is not present, then the combination of -1 in instance number and 1 for match end indicates Excel to return the text as it is. If we change the instance number to any other positive number or a blank, it will return a blank value instead of the name. So based on the kind of results you want, you can provide the value in this parameter. That's it for TEXTAFTER. As you can see, this function is simple, yet it provides so much flexibility. I do hope you found this useful. I would appreciate greatly if you would consider subscribing to our channel. Your action would mean a lot to us. Thanks for watching.